Hi guys, it's been a long time. Welcome to XtraTalk. Today with Sahbi. Sahbi, welcome.
Thank you.
It's been a while.
I miss being here, man.
Yeah, I miss being here too.
Yeah.
So guys, before we start, first of all, an apology from us to you. It's been a while since we posted our last video, but we want to make sure that when we make a video, there's a lot of things to discuss. We thought it would be a good time right now to pick up where we left. There has been a lot of things going on in the football dimension and also with Ajax. So today we have a lot to discuss. So bear with us during the Corona time and we will try and do as much as we can. However, if you really want to know a lot about us and about the topics that we discuss, we're very active in Twitter. Please go to Twitter, follow us, and click on the notification button. And almost every day there is something for you to check. We love hearing from you. We love hearing your opinion, your comments, what you think about certain things surrounding Ajax. So that's why we're doing it. Drop a comment on the YouTube film as well today, and we're gonna start. Basically,
let's do this.
Okay, so let's rewind a little bit. It's been a couple of weeks now, but the Dutch National Football Association, also known as the KNVB, they sat together with all the football clubs, and they decided we're not finishing the season.
Yeah.
Okay. Understandable. Yes. Mm-hmm. But then also they said no champions. So we will not say who will become champions. It's not fair. But in terms of European tickets, we will hold the same as what the position of the league says. So Ajax has the same amount of points as AZ, but the better goal difference. So Ajax is number 1, which means Ajax will go to the Champions League straight away. AZ number 2 can play playoffs to qualify for the Champions League. And that was one of the things. Yeah. The other thing was also that they decided no promotion and no relegation.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are winners and losers in this. I just want your opinion in general about first of all, Ajax, but also for the other teams, what it means. If you could just share this with me and share this also with the viewers.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I think KNVB are really amateurs. It's really pathetic. They apparently have already decided what to do, but still they wanted the opinion of the clubs. They want even a vote from the clubs. It's very disappointing.
Why do you say that you already think that the KNVB already knew what they were going to do?
It was on the newspaper. It was in the media.
Okay.
I think somebody from the Tagliafico stated there was already a decision made the day before.
Newspaper, yes.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So they already made a decision the day before, but they wanted to have the opinion from the clubs to see whether they agree with them or not. At least not by discussing this with them, but they want to have their opinion to see whether they have the same opinion.
But that doesn't make sense, right?
It doesn't make sense, and that's why it's a real tragedy. I mean,
also because take us also to the voting system, right? Because they asked all the clubs to vote, especially about the promotion and the relegation. Yeah. And you could vote either yes or no or neutral. And there were a lot of teams, including Ajax, that voted neutral. They don't have an opinion because they don't want to be the one that make a certain football team relegate or promote. You know, they don't want to be in that discussion.
Exactly.
But then, if you look at the votes in total, you will see that there was no majority to keep to have a no promotion and no relegation. In fact, if you only look at the yes and the nay, you would say promotion and relegation is endorsed. But what the KNVB did is they also took the neutral
as
in the equation and said, you know what, the people that voted neutral also don't want a relegation promotion, which doesn't make sense. Also, the teams that voted neutral said afterwards, like, we didn't expect this to happen.
And that's why I'm stating it. They're just amateurs. They're not strict. They don't have any. There's no confidence in them anymore. So they basically.
But let's go back. So a couple of things. Do you agree with the fact we're not finishing the season? Let's start there.
Agree. Yeah, of course.
You agree with that?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, because there are some leagues, Bundesliga is going to start soon. Even the Premier League is going to start next month.
Yeah.
Probably. Spain, they're also planning on finishing the season. So there are a lot of, competitions, European competitions that are finishing this. We know from France, they did the same as we did. So It stopped. So you do agree with that?
I do definitely agree with that. Yeah.
Okay. Then we move to the consequences of this.
Yeah.
Ajax, number one, they get the ticket to go to the Champions League. AZ is not happy with that.
True.
Okay, so how do you see that? I know. Of course, we support Ajax and everything, but objectively, if you can be objective, what do you think of this?
From an objective side, I still agree that the first position should go to the Ajax should go to the group phase of the Champions League. Next to that, I do agree from objective side that they're not the league title. They're not going to win the league title this season because it's too narrow. The first position and second position are the same, only goal difference.
So you do agree with the fact no champions? There is no champions because it's so close. It's not the same as, for instance, with Liverpool. If it would be Liverpool, Ajax had 20 points difference, then it would be easier to say, you are the champions.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we move to the league. The European tickets.
Yeah.
I can understand AZ saying, you know what, this is not fair.
Yeah, I do understand, but is there any other objective? Is there any other solution to do this?
Okay. All right. So if we take it like this as well, and we go to other teams like Utrecht. Utrecht is one of the biggest losers, actually, of the decision. Why? Yeah. Because there are two things. First of all, they were in the final of the Dutch Cup, which is not going to be played.
Yeah.
Second of all, they're just outside the European ticket. And that's because they have played one game less than, I think, Willem II. So Willem II is just in front of them, and they get the ticket instead of Utrecht. So how do you deal with that?
Difficult, very difficult. And I do understand that they are going to court because it's undescribable. Willem II is which position? Sixth, I think, or fifth?
I'm not sure actually. Fifth or something.
It's fifth or sixth. Mm-hmm. Of course, based on the league table, they deserve the Europa League ticket. FC Utrecht, of course, they still have an extra game against Ajax that they still need to play. Mm-hmm. It's difficult. You have pros and cons. From Utrecht side, I do understand because they've been punished double based on the cup final and the league.
Yeah.
And Willem II is very lucky.
So as you said, there will be, of course, they're going to court to appeal against the decision.
Yeah.
If the judge favors Utrecht, do you think there will be a domino effect? Do you think other teams also will go? Because we also know that Cambuur, for instance, is a team in the first division. They were a couple of points ahead. They were already making certain plans for next year in terms of budgeting, investing in players, etc., salaries. And now they hear they're not being promoted.
Well, with that point, I don't agree with the KNVB. It's really stupid. My idea would be like the two teams from the second league, give them the promotion.
First division.
Yeah. I mean, play with 20 teams next season.
Next year.
Yeah, of course. There will be no losers and no winners. Two teams won't relegate and the other two teams will get their promotion. I mean, that would be fair. Otherwise, the whole season would be played for nothing.
True.
And I think those are the very unlucky ones. It's the Graafschap and Cambuur.
Correct.
So very disappointed decision from KNVB.
Yeah. So moving on, one of the other things of the Corona pandemic, and also not only here but also in other competitions and leagues, the financial impact on the football clubs, on the football teams.
Yeah.
Now, in the Premier League and other major leagues like the Bundesliga, it's a bit different than here in Holland because in Holland, most of the revenues from the team, of course, a decent amount of the revenue stream of the teams comes from TV, the TV rights and the money that they get to broadcast their games, but it's not the same as what the revenues in the UK or in the Bundesliga. Yeah. So a large chunk of the revenue stream in the bigger teams in the bigger leagues are dependent on playing the games and getting the money compared to Holland. Holland gets also a lot of money from their fans, going to the stadium,
Stadiums.
merchandise, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So it's a bit more balanced. So of course there will be an impact also for the smaller teams. However, stopping the league doesn't have repercussions like it has if they would stop it in the UK or the Bundesliga.
And
or
that's
any
why
other big
they're
teams.
preceding.
Exactly,
league, yeah.
exactly. So, but despite all that, even the big teams, the teams that we always think, these teams are capable of absorbing a lot of, things because they have a lot of money, like, I don't know, like Liverpool or these kind of teams. Everybody is basically, if you read the newspapers, the reports, all the teams are in trouble, including Ajax, which is a very healthy football business team or club.
Yeah.
So you're seeing now that also it's not being, it's being, how do you say that? So it's not being something mandatory, but it's being asked if
on a voluntary
players
basis.
on a voluntary basis,
Yeah.
exactly. If players can, give a little bit of their salary and take a wage cut, basically to help out the team, but also to compensate for the other people that are also impacted and work for the club. They don't earn the same amount of money as the players themselves.
Yeah.
So we know from Ajax this week, Danny Blind confirmed that Ajax is taking a wage cut, the players, but not only the players, also the staff, the coach, and even the directors. A nice thing to add as well is Ajax is planning on compensating its fans, for the tickets, because not all games have been played. But then again, the F side has asked all the fans that have a ticket, if they can, just don't ask for compensation, leave the money with Ajax to help them out as well.
Yeah.
So in general, a very long introduction from my side. I'm sorry for that, but there's so much going on. What do you think of the fact that players are asked, but not only players, but also everybody around the team, about the club, football club, and not only with Ajax, but also it's happening everywhere, to take a wage cut or at least give something back? Do you agree with this?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It's a good initiative from the players, from the club itself. They're earning a lot, as you know. So they could basically miss a small piece. It's not it will probably not be for a very long period. It's a good thing. They're not producing. They were just at home training. They're not filling out the stadium. There are no matches being played. So all in all, it's a good initiative. It's good for the reputation of the players as well, and for the club. Big clubs are already doing that. So why not Ajax?
Okay, yeah, it makes sense to me as well. So then we move on to the next thing. We're already looking a little bit ahead for next season, of course. It's very early. Still, a lot of things need to happen.
Yeah.
Some leagues, as I said, need to finish first before we can start thinking about transfers and new players and players going out, etc., etc. However, we are reading a lot of rumors and a lot of also people from Ajax, also with Edwin van der Sar, saying that there are a couple of players. We know Ziyech is leaving, but we know that Onana, Tagliafico, and Donny van de Beek, they have certain oral agreement with Ajax.
Agreement.
Yeah, a gentleman's agreement that was made last year already. That if there will be a decent offer from a football club, they're allowed to leave. Ajax will not be very harsh on that. Take that into account. We know that Ziyech already left, is leaving to Chelsea. We don't know what will happen with Huntelaar. We still don't know if he will extend and stay one more year. So there is an opportunity, or there is a big chance that Ajax will be a different team next year, a completely different team. Now, having said that, one more thing I want to add is, because of the financial repercussions of the corona pandemic, we don't know what effect it will have on the financials of the big teams. So we don't know what they will, if they want to buy, for instance, Donny van de Beek. Last year they were talking about 100 million. I mean, it was a rumor, but we were talking about those range of money. And now, if they come back with 30 million, will Ajax say yes? That's the question also we have to think about. So, all in all, what do you think of this, looking at the coming month? I mean, it's so many things are happening. We also know that, for instance, in the defense area, We have a lot of opportunities. We think Veltman is staying.
Yeah.
You know, Alvarez is more a defensive player. We know Botman is coming back from Heerenveen. He was on loan.
Yeah.
He was very good this season.
You got Timber.
You have Timber that also.
Started.
So Ajax has really a lot to think about and also to deal with the coming month. So how do you see it, and what would you like to see in your view?
Well, first of all, with regards to Donny van de Beek, there were rumors, of course, that there was a pre-agreement with Real Madrid, about 60 million, I think, in that area.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Overmars or Van der Sar will give a cut price to that. Maybe some millions, but 30 million, as you just mentioned, no, definitely not.
Not going to happen.
Not going to happen. And I think Donny will understand that if it's not possible to ask the jackpot for him, at least jackpot, an area between the 50 million, they will not sell him.
Because let's be straight about this. We don't expect the same amount of money that were paid last year to be paid this year.
No, definitely not. Okay. But I wouldn't see a very big cut from last year as well. Mm-hmm. So we will see a small cut, but that's it. So if we will sell one of these players, it will not be cheap. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're still healthy, even though we got a lot of expenses. Still, we're a healthy club, so we don't need to sell. There's no obligation to sell. There is a gentleman's agreement, but in that agreement, it was told that only if a fair price would come in. So we'll just have to wait for that fair price.
Yeah, so the fair price would be what? Like for instance, the same applies for Ziyech. We know that. It was already last year, but last year nobody came for Ziyech. Now, Chelsea came with around 40 million.
40 million, yeah.
And he left for 40 million. So if they come for 40 million for Donny,
I would ask for more.
How about Onana? 40 million for Onana.
It's a decent price.
Okay. Why would you ask more for Donny? Because he's younger?
Next to the young, I don't know whether he's that young in comparison with Onana, but an attacking player is always more expensive than a keeper in general. So that's why 40 million for Onana would be okay.
Okay. Looking at the balance at the team itself, at Ajax right now, and how it looks, would you like to have some kind of addition to the team for next year? Maybe, or you think, no, you know what, we have enough players. It's up to Ten Hag to fit in also the youth players, because there are a couple of youth players. And talking about youth players, by the way, I'm pretty sure also you followed us on Twitter on the discussions about Gravenberch.
Yeah.
So Gravenberch has 1 year left on his contract, as we know. He always said that he wants to stay at Ajax, but apparently it's not happening. They still haven't extended the contract. They still haven't signed the contract. We know who his agent is.
Pizza guy.
Not a pizza guy, but yes, Raiola.
You know, yeah.
And of course, it's not a coincidence that you see also the Italian clubs being interested now in Gravenberch, like AS Roma, for instance. So how do you think this will pan out, and what do you think also Ajax should do in this case?
It's, as I said also on Twitter, it's bluff poker. We know, Mino Raiola is always trying to get as much as possible. He has the advantage because of the 1 year contract. So he's using that as well.
Okay, but what you're saying is it's pure money.
It's pure money.
Because Gravenberch has said, I read that, he said that he wants a clear-cut plan. He wants to hear from Ajax what they plan to do with him, how he's supposed to develop with Ajax. So it's not a money issue.
No, but yeah, of course, but which player would discuss in the media that it's all about money?
Okay.
I mean, it will be.
You're pretty sure it's money?
I'm quite sure that it's money, because he already played this year. He had sufficient minutes within the first team. So there is a plan, obviously.
Do you think he had sufficient minutes this year, by the way? I thought he played a few games and that's it. Ten Hag never really gave one of the youth players, except for maybe Traoré, but that was in the second half of the season. But he never gave youth players a couple of games, a run of games to develop or show themselves. Gravenberch didn't have that chance. I think, in my opinion, didn't have that chance. So, yeah, you know.
Well, with I think it's different because he came from an injury.
From an injury, that's true. That's true.
And with Gravenberch, we should know that at the beginning of the season, he was playing for young Ajax. just started with young Ajax. So it's already a big step from young Ajax to the first team
but the season
of Ajax.
but the season before that, then Ten Hag made him make his debut at Ajax as well. So he was already his first.
Yeah, he's tasting, of
he's
course.
Tasting a little bit.
I mean, we should always give young players some.
But also
some
this
taste.
year, Gravenberch was also in the Ajax ones in the first squad as part of the. Of course, doesn't mean that you will play, but still. So I was a bit surprised, and I'm not saying he has to play all the games, but I also understand that some youth players, they have to get a little bit more confidence in playing a series of games. You cannot ask from a 17-year-old, 18-year-old, maybe 20-year-old to play 2 games and then go back to the bench. It doesn't work like that.
No, but still, I do think Gravenberch came in, he got some minutes, and within the years that are coming, he will definitely be first team player. That's something that's for sure.
Okay. Finally, I already asked that question, but we went to Gravenberch. So, in terms of the balance of the team, in terms of the players that we have at our disposal at the moment, also not knowing whether the players we discussed will leave, yes or no, like Donny or Tagliafico or Onana. Let's say they stay. Let's say they stay. So the only player that basically leaves is Ziyech, which is highly improbable, but let's for discussion, to make it easy. Would you like to have a player bought by Ajax to complement this team and make it stronger for next season? And who would it be?
Well, in tech, we already got Antony, who is replacing Ziyech.
Well, actually, I thought he was replacing Neres, to be honest.
Well, it wasn't clear whether Neres would leave or not.
Yeah,
but it was already clear that Ziyech would leave.
But Neres was injured all season. We don't expect, and he already said that probably he will stay.
He will stay. I'm confident he will stay.
Yeah.
So we got Ziyech out. We got Antony.
Mm-hmm.
My opinion would be we would need an extra midfielder.
What kind of midfielder?
Midfielder, just like Schöne, a type of Schöne.
Yeah. Because that was also an issue this season, to be honest.
It was an issue this season.
So somebody who plays next to Alvarez, or somebody else, you mean? Or somebody that plays instead of Alvarez?
Instead of Alvarez. I mean, he could play next to Martinez.
Okay. Yeah. I'm talking about Martinez.
Yeah, next to Martinez. Yeah. And I was thinking about Prupper.
But Prupper this season, I think a few months ago, he signed an extension of a contract with Brighton.
But doesn't mean that he still can get transfer.
No, that's true. But that means that I have to pay a lot of money.
Yeah, of course. But you were asking me which player would be suitable.
Yeah.
Well, I think such a player would be suitable.
I see that as well. I see that next to, again, Martinez, not Alvarez.
Next to Martinez, indeed. And then with a number 10.
But if Donny leaves, then we would need a number 10.
Then we need that number 10. And in that case, if he would be leaving, we got Promes who could play at that position. Otherwise, I already stated that
Tadic could play that position.
Could play, but I think he's too offensive
oriented.
But Promes as well. You could get. I've already mentioned that in Twitter. Maybe Klaassen to replace Donny van de Beek.
Davyklaassen.
Oh
man! All right.
He's
okay.
They're exactly the same type of players.
Okay, so how about strikers? If Huntelaar leaves, we have Tadic, who can play number 9. We have Traoré right behind him.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's it.
So
I don't think we need somebody else. We got the youth. We got Brobbey. We got Son Chanso. They're very good players. So why would we need them? And next to that, we got Promes, who could probably also play in as a striker.
But one of the things, just one more thing that I want to add, final thing. This season has also, I know it's an extreme case, but this season also has taught us that you have to have very good bench, because we had so many injuries twice. Once in the period of November, and then it happened again in January, February. That there were a lot of players injured. Our whole attacking players were gone, basically. We had, at a certain moment in time, I don't know if you recall, Ziyech was injured, Promes was injured. Who else do we have?
Neres was
injured the whole season. So we missed so many first-team players up front.
It's bad luck. Yeah, I mean, it's bad luck. I mean, you can't get 3 first-team players on the bench.
No, that's true.
It would be great if we would have that, but I don't think it's realistic.
So your first priority would be the midfield, next to Martinez, somebody there. And then Donny as number 10. If Donny leaves, we get also number 10.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. So that will be perfect.
All right. I think we talked quite extensively about a lot of things.
Time flies by.
Thank you for being here. Guys, thank you for watching. Please drop a comment on any of the topics that we discussed. We love hearing from you. Check us on Twitter, follow us, and please share your opinions to us as well. See you next time with next video with more topics and more opinions.